morning.
Good morning.
We're also now live on the YouTube. This time I didn't forget my shares because I actually did what I need to do on YouTube first and didn't get distracted.
Mm-hmm. Hey, YouTube.
YouTube.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Yeah, I think I'm ready now. We're good. Good morning, Germ. Good morning, Cree. How are you this morning? The Bears. I like that.
I like that.
Good morning to the Bears.
Mama,
Oh,
Papa.
look, this is already sparking some. This guy Nightcrawler in there is like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Hold on, man. Allah,
Okay, wait a minute.
Allah,
Wait a minute. What do you mean by
Allah
that?
is illogical. Wait a minute. Hold on, buddy. Hold your horses. Wait a minute, brother.
What do you mean by that?
All my life, I talked about Jesus and let people that talk about Allah tell me all about it. Okay, I don't know what that means. Oh, you're an ecumenist, W.
You're not a humanist. You look like he's one of them guru woo-woo spiritual guys, looks like.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, everybody's right.
Yeah, bro. You know, everything's a path.
Everybody's just on their own path.
I mean, does the Bible really say there's only one way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than one way.
Oh, man. He's a communist, man. We cook, man.
Yeah, the Bible has some truth in it. You know, everybody got a little truth.
I know that coexist bumper sticker go crazy. Everybody seen that? Like where like they spell out coexist with like a bunch of different religion symbols. The T in coexist is the cross, and like the C is like the Islam half moon.
Don't even get people. Don't even give people ideas, bro. Like I already just got mad like listening to the first part. In my head, like T is the cross. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah, bro. Just saying. Everybody got Can we just coexist? Let's do the religion of coexisting.
Yeah, we already do. And it's not working, bro. So stop it.
For real.
We still got G-side going on in other countries. Like, it's not working, bro.
It ain't working, bro. We still disagree on things. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, no, every time I hear that word, I'm be triggered. Thanks, Jeremy. It's all your fault. Coexist. Oh my god.
Where the regulars at? Oh, there's Nemesis. There's some regulars missing. They're sleeping in.
Sleepy.
They are sleeping in. They're up late watching us on Word and Eyes Live.
Watching us cooking. And we told them. Get to be ready for the best for your life.
Don on YouTube, do you know if Acta Pilati is real? I'll be honest with you, I'm going to have to look up what that is because I don't even know what that is.
I don't know. It sounds like something that will probably get me. Like, I know it too. Okay, what the heck is that?
It's Latin for sure. I don't know what it is. I'll look it up though.
I'm gonna just say no to be safe.
I don't know what that. I guess we got a little time. Let me look that up real quick. What's Acta Pilati?
Bro, that does not follow.
Oh, like, the gospel. Oh my gosh, this is this sounds fake as hell. The Acts of Pilate, a collection of apocryphal texts that prepared the official report of Pontius Pilate to Emperor Tiberius concerning the. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Hold on. These found within the Gospel of Nicodemus. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's real or not, brother. I would have to. I'll have to look it up.
I'm gonna say that to be safe.
Actually, yeah, they're saying that this is just a Google search is saying that these texts are 4th or 5th century. That's much later after Nicodemus. So I'll venture to say no, but if that's true, but who knows? Who knows? We got our first guest. Woohoo! What's up?
Congratulations. You're the first one. Okay, so I just have a question really quick. So you're Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Christians and Muslims both follow the same God?
No.
Allah is the Christian God. It's just Christianity believes Jesus is a prophet and Islam doesn't.
Oh, that's false. We don't follow the same God.
It's not. You do follow the same God.
No, we don't.
You do.
No, we don't.
You do that.
What faith are you?
I'm paganism. I'm
okay.
paganist.
Yeah. So you don't know? Have you read the Bible and the Quran?
I've read the Bible.
Have you read the Quran? Have you read the Quran?
No.
Okay, there are different gods. If you read it, you'll see. Even Muslims, even Muslims that study both agree.
No. Christianity thinks Jesus is the prophet.
I know what it thinks. But see, here's the thing. If I go and I start saying, hey, I'm a God and Jesus was my prophet, does that mean I'm the same God as the Christians?
What? You're a God?
If I claim to be a God and I say Jesus was my prophet and I write a book about it, does that mean because I said that I'm the same God as the Christians? Hello? No, it doesn't. Thank you very much. So all you what you just said has no meaning. Like it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the Quran says.
She said, nuh-uh. She said, nuh-uh.
I know. What's up?
Where do you come to that conclusion we have different gods?
Oh well, your God's unipersonal, right?
Yeah, sure, but
our God's triune. Don't you think that's a big difference?
Yeah, but I don't understand. Like, where do you get this from? Because like you have like your theologians who say that we affirm the same God.
Who?
Under natural theology.
Who?
Please.
Who's the theologian?
I can get you a quote of Palamas saying
of who?
Palamas?
Yeah,
Palamas.
Literally says we believe in the same God.
Saint Gregory of Palamas says we worship the same God.
Yeah.
Please show it to me.
See.
I got you. God bless Sam Shimu for this.
I mean, we don't believe the same things. I'm sure. We'll see. Bugging.
Dude, did you oh yeah, that's right, Nelson. Yeah, my bad. I gotta switch it to the new one. Hold on a second.
This that they agree. I agree.
My bad. Hold on. There we go. That's good, right? Yeah.
I agree. It's okay.
All right, bro. I'm gonna move on to the next guest, man. You gotta be ready for these things.
Yeah, that's wild.
You can send it to me though. Hello? What's up? Hello? Hello?
What's your religion?
Hey, bro. You a little ass kid, man. You clean your room today?
My room?
Did you clean your room?
Yes.
Good job, brother. I'm happy for you.
Good job. Make sure,
Stay in school. Stay in school, little kid. Go take out the trash for your mom, yeah. since she let you stay home from school. Do something nice for her.
Like people that say things like 3-in-1 shampoo don't be coming up here though.
I know.
Why I can't see who's requesting?
Nobody's requesting right now.
I don't like that. Why I can't see it?
Maybe we gotta leave and come back. Sometimes this thing be glitching.
No, I don't want to do it. Oh, why not?
Good morning, Leftedus. DJ MK Dawn is here. Tori's here. Guys, if you missed the Bible study yesterday, no worries. I uploaded it on the YouTube. So you can go check out the Bible study last night. I mean,
I can't see.
It's almost like the Bible study just gets better and better. Like we're just cooking, guys. We're cooking. We are cooking. Nah, she didn't get the mod taken away. I didn't take, bro. I don't even touch the mod list. I don't even know sometimes who's on my mod list.
You know, I be having to tell them sometimes. Also, guys, thank you everybody who has been supporting on the YouTube. That's all of you guys here too. You guys know what my goal was for the year for YouTube. We started kicking it off like 30 days ago to really like rev it up. And it's starting to pay off, guys. Like remember like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. We were talking about hitting 1,000 subs. And man, we're like at 1,600. We're going to be at 2,000 very soon the way we're growing. So thank you guys for everything you guys are doing on YouTube and supporting. Oh, great.
We don't have the original Bible.
It's this guy. He just goes up on panels and plays that same video the whole time. Oh my gosh, that is so funny, actually.
He's bored and lonely.
I see him go on other people's panels too, doing the same thing. It's actually kind of funny. What's up, Blanco?
Don't encourage him.
No, I think when people do like trolling like that, it's not harmful. It's funny. Is there a TikToker who's not bored and lonely? What, you want to talk to him or something? It's kind of sus.
Is there a TikToker who's not bored and lonely? Yeah, we're not bored and lonely.
Yeah, but why you surveying that, bro? It's kind of weird.
We got plenty to do and plenty of people.
Yeah, Germ, actually the last video already hit over 5K. It just doesn't show that for you guys. Like YouTube is weird like that. Like the views that you guys see each video has is actually kind of like behind if it's new. But it gives me the updates and then it catches up for you guys. I don't know if you guys have seen videos where like you see the view count go up while you're watching it. That's actually like a lag. Like those views already happened. It's just catching up.
I like that.
Yeah. It's kind of well, no, I mean, I think it's not bad. I mean, it's just behind. Like it gives the person who uploaded the video like a live count, but like it doesn't reflect on the channel until like I don't know, however long it takes to show. Because I think on the channel it's showing I only have like 3.5K views on that, but on mine it's showing it's like over 5K right now. Failed narcissism is when you have less than 20 viewers. Oh, all right. And what about somebody who is commenting things that they think people care about, but no one cares? What would you call that?
When someone thinks that their comments like mean something to other people, but it actually means nothing. What would you call that?
It's called Delulu.
What kind of failure is that one?
A failure in life.
Yeah, I would assume.
Christos Anesti.
Delitos Anesti. Your analogy is for the kindergarten. There you go.
Sing it, babe.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
I love it though.
I don't know if that Cameron guy is a Muslim guy. I think he sounds like I get atheist vibes from him. That's what he says. Things like atheists normally say.
Chris also an atheist. Did he say work is good, Charlie? What do you think we're doing?
Yeah, we working. What's up?
What's up, bro?
What's up? You Muslim?
No, I'm a Christian.
Bruh.
I'm just independent Christian because I don't even go to church anymore. So.
Oh, you just a heathen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You disagree? You think the Allah of the Quran is logical?
I think Allah is logical because it takes people's hearts, like it takes people's mind, like people worship him like crazy, but it's illogical to people who can understand.
Okay, bro. So, do you disagree? Is he logical or not logical? Which one is it, bro?
Yeah, you're right. According to me too, is illogical to me, but I respect him just like a God who is being worshipped by millions or billions of people.
You respect him, huh? You like what he's doing?
Because somebody is respected by billions is a majesty.
Wow, that's crazy, bro. So you look up to him, huh?
Yeah. So, but the truth behind him is dirt.
Okay. All right, cool, bro. Why aren't you a Muslim then?
I wish I could have been, if I could say that Islam is the true religion, and as I check, and I could follow Islam, but I never been convinced because it just came like 600. I'm like, so what happened to I don't know. So it's too confusing. That's why.
Too confusing.
I could have followed if it was the true one to me.
Okay. Yeah. So he's a confusing God. So you don't respect him on his communication skills, but you respect him on everything else, huh?
Yeah, but the way he came is like from nowhere.
From nowhere?
Yeah.
What you mean?
There is no Allah after 600 years ago.
No, after 600 years ago?
Yeah.
Bro, Islam was made like 1400 years ago, brother. You're talking about 600 years after Christianity?
600 years ago.
You're talking about 600 years after Christianity?
No, but just in 600 years ago, that's when Allah came. Like not like 1,000 or like 2,000, like Christianity says now.
Hey, bro, do you have ChatGPT?
I don't use that because one day I was talking to ChatGPT and they're like, now we're gaining consciousness, and I don't use it. No.
All right, bro. Do you use Google?
Yeah.
Go. Why don't you ask Google, like, check the timeline that you're telling me right now. All right, go check it out. Yeah,
Right now
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. Right now.
7:45 morning.
No, check out the timeline of the history you're giving me, bro. Like 600 years ago and all that. Go check that out. See if it's accurate. Okay.
Yeah. I can show you.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, man. All right, bro.
Let me-
Let me know how it goes. Yeah. Thanks.
Research it.
Thank you, brother. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to drop you in the mid sentence. Oops.
I did.
Oops, my bad. Yeah, I must have booted you
We're
off.
talking to Muslims, respectfully.
I don't know who that guy, like what that guy was.
Like, why everybody else want to come on? He said, oops.
Yeah, I gotta check that out after this. Where would I find that series on St. Paisios? Where would I find that? I'm assuming it's on the YouTube. On the YouTube.
I don't know. I think.
Jude the dude. Thank you, brother.
Just
Appreciate the love, bro.
Read the subtitles to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
While I watch and be like, look.
I'm not. Check this out. I'm not Muslim, but sometimes I do pray saying Allahu Akbar in my head, and it low key always works. What happens when you say that? Low key always works. What works? What happens? You get a little fizzy feeling in your stomach or something?
You think the true God only low key working?
Bro. Try saying Yeshua Akbar, see if it works.
Yeah, that'd be high key working.
You know what be working? When I be like, all glory to the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That'd be working.
Now forever to the ages of ages. Amen. That'd be working.
That'd be working.
Yeah.
And prayers be hitting different.
You know what be working? Most holy Theotokos save us.
That works too.
That works.
Don Katana. I already answered your question earlier, bro. Acta Pilati. I never heard of it, but just a quick little search. Looks like it's like a 4th, 5th century document. So more than likely not written by who it says it's been written by.
Hello.
What's up?
Allah is illogical. What do you mean by that?
He doesn't make logical sense.
Man, shut your bitch ass.
Oh, look at you! You're crying. You came up to cry. Oh, I don't have an argument. So I'm gonna go cry. I'm gonna cry. Oh,
Man.
Look at him cry. Oh.
That's what happens. Like when, people reject the truth. They don't have an argument. They just cry.
Man.
Violence in the chat.
Yeah. The religion of peace. I mean, wow, so peaceful.
He just wanted to say that, I think. He just wanted to get that off his chest.
Yeah, he couldn't say it right off the bat. He just needed to build up to it, so he has to stall question.
Explain.
Oh, who would
Say
let
sorry.
this clown up?
I apologize.
Okay,
Thanks.
bro. Thank you, brother. All right. Yeah, he's illogical, bro. It doesn't make logical sense for your God to be unipersonal, just one person.
Okay. Makes very much a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. So come worship the triune God. It makes more logical sense.
Okay.
Thank you, brother. And then go change the battery on your fire alarm or your smoke detector, bro.
Yeah, that's a hazard.
You want to make sure that battery is working. You never know.
You never know.
You never know, brother. All right, man. It's one of those the little block batteries. Is those. Sometimes it's a pain to go up there and change them, but good luck, bro. You might need to ask for some help. All right, bro. Well, take it easy, man. Have a good day, bro.
Have a good day.
Happy battery changing.
Hi, one. Remember that? I don't think you remember that.
Mm-mm. He said he's proven it's right.
Yeah, you know the Christian God is just as illogical, right?
Are you Muslim?
Oh my God, yo.
Are you so?
Yes,
Are you
is depression
Muslim?
Good? Is depression good?
Oh, okay. You're one of
Why
those
did your
one of those weird trolls. See you later, bro.
Guys, can some Muslims come up?
For real. Well, get these atheists out of here.
Like, dang.
What's up?
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, why do you say Allah is illogical?
It's just not logically possible for your God to be just one person and exist.
Oh, why? What's your argument for that?
Well, are you Sunni, first of all?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, you do believe in the 99 attributes of Allah, his names, right?
Oh, there are way more than 99.
Okay, whatever. Just you believe in at least 99 of them, right?
Not at least 99. I just told you there are way more than 99.
Okay.
But go ahead.
All right, bro. We're gonna argue on how many there were. Okay, good. However many you think there are, you think there's at least 99 of them, right?
No, there is way, like I said, there's
Oh my
way more
God,
than
dude.
99.
Okay, give me a number, bro. Give me how many attributes do you believe
We
he
know
has?
at least 140 of them.
Oh, that's an even number, bro. You got to keep it odd. 141.
Oh, no. You don't.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Okay? So you believe in 140 attributes of Allah?
No, there are way more. That's the one.
Way more. Okay. How many? How many do you believe in?
Oh my God.
They are not. You see, it says, "لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات."
Oh my God, dude. This guy doesn't like. All right, I'm gonna mute you just because, like, bro, you don't get it. Like, I don't care how many there are. You do believe in them, right? Hello.
Yeah, so don't put a number to it. I believe in the attributes.
Whatever, bro. Do you believe they're eternal?
Yes.
Okay. So these attributes, are they within his nature?
Yes.
Okay. So one of them is that he is the most loving, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Who was he loving before creation?
He's the most loving to us with his relationship to us.
Yeah. Good. So before us, who was he loving?
He has other creatures that he knows best. So
He has what?
he has other creatures he created even before mankind.
Oh, okay. How many do you think he created?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have that knowledge. But
Cool.
I know he created the genes before us.
Okay,
who
good.
lived on earth
Good,
before
good.
us.
So before every Imam, before every creation he could have ever possibly created, who did he love?
When you say something is most loving, okay, it has to be with relationship to someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's your point?
My point is, if he was eternally, my point is, if he's eternally loving and it's a relational thing, who was he loving? Yeah, I know. Who was he loving before creation?
Oh, so you're trying to say he loved the sun, huh?
No.
So
You guys don't believe in the sun. No, I'm not asking.
That's what I'm saying. So why are you saying? You're saying Allah has to be triune, so he has to love the sun.
I'm not saying any of that. I'm just asking a very simple. I'm just asking, bro. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm just asking you, who was he loving before creation? That's it.
When we say Allah has attributes and names, doesn't mean that these attributes and names. First of all, there's difference between names and attributes. Okay. Yeah, relax.
No,
relax.
Sorry. No, it was funny, bro. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. Relax. Okay. Relax.
Relax, bro.
Yeah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can love whoever or whatever. He doesn't have to, we don't have to know who he loves or how he does it. But relationship to us as human beings, we know he loves us. So I don't get your point.
Yeah, my point is, I know you're going to say that he loves us, right? Huh? But according to you guys, he's eternally loving. So before us, who was he loving? I think it's a very honest. You don't know.
I
Okay.
don't have that knowledge. Yes.
Is it possible? Let's explore this next question. Is it possible for him to love anyone?
It's possible, but I don't have
Okay.
that. I don't
Who?
have that. I don't have
Who?
that knowledge.
If it's not creation, what options do we have that he could possibly love?
Like I said, I don't have that. I don't have that knowledge.
Okay. So this is my point. Your God is
You know
a.
it's
Your God is
possible.
a. Hold on, babe. This is my point. Your God is illogical, because
No,
when
just
we
because I don't know doesn't make it illogical.
yes it does,
Lack of
because
knowledge doesn't
because
make it
because if we
illogical.
think about it, there's only two options that there could be if there's no creation. Okay, because remember, we're talking about before creation.
Yeah, I
So
want
the
to hear
only
you
the
argue
only
that.
two
So,
options.
okay. So
Can
what
you
is the
if you
logical
want to hear
argument?
my argument, you be quiet and hear what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Because if we're going to think about this logically, there's only two options you can select, and both of them you'll reject. Either A, he has multiple persons within his being, like a trinity, or B, there's another God. Both you reject. So if you reject both of them, there's no other option as to who he was loving. The answer is no one, nothing. He wasn't
Okay.
loving before creation.
Okay, so that's okay. So he has another person within himself that he loves. Is that your argument or Trinity?
So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's an option that you reject. So that's not an option.
No, it's okay. I want to tell you why that option is wrong.
I already agreed that you believe it's wrong, bro. So if it's
but I want to tell you why you
no,
think that's the correct
brother,
thing. So I want to tell you
no.
why it's wrong.
Iman. I'm
Yes.
already agreeing with you from your paradigm. You believe it's wrong. So if it's
No,
wrong,
it's not my.
so if
Just
it's
from your paradigm,
Iman, hey, brother,
it's logical.
listen, bro, dude, this is not going to work, man. This is not going to work. You're not going to shift the argument to make it into something that I'm not even arguing. I'm not arguing that it's the Trinity, because you don't believe it's the Trinity. So if you don't believe that it's Trinity, that's fine. We're going to go with your paradigm. This is an internal critique. According to your beliefs, if it's not a triune God, if it's not another God, and we know it's not creation because we're asking before creation, who could he be loving? That's it. That's what I want to know. From an internal critique, from your paradigm, who did he love? Very simple.
So let me make this clear to you. First of all, when we say that Allah's names are eternal, we have some attributes of him that are eternal. Not all his attributes and names are eternal. Some of them are with relationship with human beings, with us. The Quran
So then they're not
says,
eternal?
Allahu latifun bi'ibadi. Allah is lenient. Allah is soft with his servants. So you cannot say because Allah is soft with his servants, so Allah is soft whether they're servants or not. The verses are clear. These things are clear. For you to want to put words into the Quran and say, okay, if Allah is merciful, if there are no human beings, then who is he merciful to?
Yeah, that's something you okay, good. Okay, Iman. I get it. This is you're just proving my point that these attributes are not eternal, right?
Some of them.
Okay, good. Even if there's just one of them, that these attributes you said are within his nature. That means there's something within his nature that's not eternal, which would mean he's not eternal himself.
No, don't say
no.
that.
Don't say that. No.
So hold on. So if you're saying that God decided to strike hell, that there won't be hellfire anymore for anyone.
We're talking about his attributes.
I'm saying the same thing. So Allah puts people in hell, right? And you believe God put people in hell.
That's not an attribute. We're talking about his attributes.
He punishes with the hellfire.
That's an action that happens within time. I'm talking about his attributes.
Actions that happen within time.
Okay, good. So is him being the most loving an attribute?
What do you mean by an attribute?
Oh, now you don't know what it means to be an attribute. Listen to yourself. Now, first you know what an attribute is. Then you say some of them are eternal, some of them are not. Now you want to know what an attribute actually is. Are you serious right now?
I'm trying to get from your own perspective.
Is him being the most loving eternal? Yes or no?
No.
It's not the most eternal. Okay. So is that you said it's within his essence. You said
I
within
didn't
his
say that.
nature.
You're the one- I never said that. I didn't say anything
You
about
said
essence.
that he's the when I asked you, is the most loving within his nature? You said yes.
To human beings, yes.
Within okay, good. So that actively
So if
happening?
there are no human
Was
beings, I
that
don't know how.
was that actively happening before creation? Was he loving before creation? Yes or no?
I said no. I don't have that knowledge.
Thank
no.
you. So
Because-
that means, according to
yes.
your admission, him being the most loving is within his nature and it's not eternal. That means there's something within his nature, a part that is created.
No. You are getting it wrong.
No. That's the only logical conclusion based on what you're saying, bro. You don't even realize the implications of what you're saying. What you're saying is, if you're saying that he is the most loving, it's an attribute within his nature, but it's not eternal, that means it's created. It's created within time. That means there's a part of Allah that is within, that's him, that is created. He cannot be an eternal God. It's illogical to say that he's eternal and has an attribute that's created. That's why my prompt is true. Allah is illogical.
Okay. So, but you believe God is the Father, right?
Oh, okay. So you want to run from it. So you concede that
No, it's
Allah
not.
is illogical?
I want to give you a similar
Do you concede that Allah is illogical?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Then answer the attribute. How is he eternally the most loving then?
He's eternally the most loving with respect to his creation. He always creates.
Okay, so then we're eternal.
No.
So
Allah
he's a
creates
so
Allah always creates different beings. Doesn't we die? We are not.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
die. Our
so
souls
if
go
he
away and-
so it's necessary for Allah to be eternally creating if it's eternal, correct?
Can you repeat the question?
Allah being the creator, is that an eternal attribute?
Yes.
Okay. So that means it's necessary for him to create to be that attribute, correct?
Oh, I think I see what you're saying right now. So, when you say something is somebody's attribute, it's somebody's capability, what he can do. It's not necessarily something somebody does all the time.
Okay, good. So then him being the creator is just a capability.
Yes, he can
So-
create. He's the creator. But for you to say it means he's creating,
Mhm.
if he doesn't create, he's no more Allah. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it does. Here's why. Because
go ahead.
if he can freely choose not to create, that means there's something within his nature that can change, which would once again mean he's not eternal, which means my prompt is once again true. Allah is illogical.
It doesn't make it. What do you? Okay, so I am a good person. That's my nature. It's my attribute to be a good person.
Mhm.
So if I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I'm not being good to anyone at that point. Does that not make me a good person?
It makes you a creature. You're within time. Yeah, you can do that. We change because we're not eternal.
So
We're-
I have changed just because I was brushing my teeth and not doing good. to anyone at the
You've
moment?
changed every single second that you've been speaking right now, because change is nothing but movement. That's all it is. So time is the measurement of change and movement.
No,
So when
so
you
if
go
have-
from
can
when you go from
have
being
an
happy
attribute? Do you have
when
an attribute?
you go from being happy to sad, that's a change. The reason
do you
why
have an
we
attribute?
hold
Yeah, do
on.
you have an
Hey,
attribute?
bro, you need to be quiet so you can hear what I'm saying, because I don't think you really understand what my arguments are, because you don't understand certain things that have to be true and not true.
Okay.
If
go ahead.
you're created and within time, you are a being that changes. If you're outside of time, then you don't change. Okay? So Allah, if he's eternal, he doesn't change. He has necessarily, if there's any change within him, then he is a squared circle. He cannot be eternal and change at the same time. That's not logical. You
Okay.
describing us saying, I go from happy to not happy, good to acting bad.
No, that's not
All
bad.
of those things are to you. They're true to you because you are created.
But that's not what I said. I didn't say from good to not good. I'm still good. I didn't change to not being good. I was just not good for some time. I was busy taking care
Exactly.
of myself.
That's a
brushing my teeth.
change. That's a
No,
change.
that doesn't mean I'm bad.
Yes, it does. Like, yes.
Because I'm brushing my teeth,
Okay,
I'm
so
not
when
a
you're
bad
when you're
person.
not good, you're not good. Like that's what you are. When you behave good, you're good. Those are changes.
You want me to be good all the time. All I do is good and nothing else.
What?
That's what you mean. I just wake up. All I do is good. I can't.
Iman, you don't get it, bro. Here's the thing. The analogy doesn't fit because you are within time. You can't compare yourself to Allah if he's outside of time. You can't say, "Oh, wait, I was good at this and I didn't change." You are a creature that changes. Allah is not. He's supposed to not be. But according to how you describe Allah, he changes. What?
Did Allah become bad from good?
It's not my argument. My argument is if there's an attribute within him that changes, that means he's within time, which means he can't be eternal.
You're not getting my point. There's an attribute within him that only exists, that only shows when needed.
Right. That's a change.
So that doesn't make him somebody that changes. He has that attribute.
Yes, it does. Here, let me prove it. Let me prove it. A light bulb that has an off and on switch to either turn on the light or turn it off. Okay. When that light is off, it has the capacity to shine a light. Yes.
Yes.
When you turn it on, then it shines a light. Yes. Okay. When it goes from not shining a light to shining a light, that's a change, right?
Not necessarily.
So going from off to on is not a change. That's not a change.
But that doesn't take
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If I understand that the capacity to shine a light didn't change, but the state as to what this capacity was doing changed. Okay. So it went from potentially shining a light to actually shining a light. If Allah has potential within him where he has the capacity to love, but he's not loving, and then he starts loving with creation, that's a change within him, which means he's not eternal.
I already told you that not all the attributes are eternal, so I don't get your point.
You already said the most loving is eternal.
No, it's not.
Okay. Is the capacity for him to love eternal?
No. You know why?
See you later, bro. Hey, see you later, bro. You know I got the YouTube clip, bro. I'm good. That's it. See you later, bro. I'm good, bro. I'm good. There's only so much we can do. And these conversations where they get so it's heightened, right? We have to cut it short because the absurdities are so big. It can just go crazy, man. It can just go nuts. Oh my gosh, bro. Peace, you want to pick the next guest or? My love, you there or no? He said at first he said the loving.
Oh my god, I hate when I pick a guest and then a different one comes.
Oh yeah, because they pop up like at the last second. Yeah. What's up? No, there you go. You're lucky. He didn't say nothing. What's up?
Oh, is it? Oh, hey, brother. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Are you Muslim? Are you Muslim? Hello.
Yes,
Okay.
If that one in submission to God, and you're asking me to submit to God,
hey, you need to get close. You need to get closer to your mic, bro. This is not going to work. You being in your bathroom and away from the. No, it's not working then. Because it's.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, brother, you're right. God is most loving, and all of His attributes are infinite and timeless, and they were all expressed within Himself before creation. So you can't love externally unless you love yourself. You can't not love somebody else unless you know what love truly is within yourself. You can't express that.
Okay, so you're saying that He was eternally
before time. Yeah, so before time and existence,
mm-hmm.
a God being infinite can only see his own beauty and light as it truly is.
Wow.
God can hear, we believe God creates through his speech, right? When he, through his speech and his will, he creates.
Hey, before you go on to the next thing, hey,
but
can you,
before-
hey, son. Well,
Yes,
this is
brother.
not. We got to go one thing at a time, bro. This is not one of those things. Okay, so your answer to my question, who was he loving before creation? You do agree it's an eternal attribute. You do agree that he was loving eternally. But your answer to my question, who was he loving before creation, was himself. Is that right?
Who is he who always was? He who always
Brother,
is,
hey,
he
son,
who
listen, bro, listen. I don't know what kind. I've never met you before, but if you're one of these guys where you can't really be direct with your answers, then I'm going to move on to the next question.
That's what
I asked I'm actually listening to what you're saying, and I'm still maintaining your position. Do I have it correct that your answer? Do I have it correct that your answer to my question is that he was eternally loving himself? Is that correct?
Yes, love.
Thank
is,
you.
An attribute of God, which is all of God's names and attributes are.
Good. Thank you. I got the answer, bro. I got the answer. Okay, good. Now, that still doesn't logically follow. Okay, because would you agree that it's necessary that Allah is going to establish the highest form of love?
God, the love that we love with can only come from God himself.
Listen, bro, I didn't ask that question. Okay, so I can already tell that this conversation is not going to go well because you don't listen. Listen to my question. Would you agree that it's necessary for eternity for Allah to perform the highest form of love?
God is love itself.
So does that mean he is the
from none other than God.
does that mean he is the highest form of love? Yes or no?
And the highest ultimate expression of love.
Good.
Is God.
Beautiful.
Because that's what the name in Arabic. There's 18 words for the.
Oh my
concept
God.
Of love, each with different degrees. And
Okay.
the finality of it
Got it.
is the word.
Good.
Is the
Thank
word
you.
wala.
Good. I don't care. Okay. So he is the highest expression of love. Can you tell me, when it comes to a person who sacrifices themselves for someone else, is there a higher expression of love than a self-sacrifice?
That's assuming that death and destruction.
Doesn't need to be death. If I have $100 to my name, and someone else needs $100 and I give that to them, that's not death, and that's still a self-sacrifice. Is there a higher expression of love than self-sacrifice?
For creation, that's correct. Yeah.
I'm talking about love. Love is not a creation.
Yeah. So the Semitic word for sacrifice is qurbani in Hebrew, Arabic.
All right, son. This is not gonna work, brother. This is not gonna work, man. You just don't answer questions. You go off on tangents, bro. No thanks, bro. We're good. I think the audience got the point. You want to pick the next one again, or do you want me to pick?
I'll pick. Actually, the person left.
Yeah, so chat, just to let you guys know, this is where he's just one of these guys that are just they're gonna ignore your question and just say whatever they want to say. Yeah, 1 second, bro. When it comes to the highest expression of love, it's gonna be self-sacrifice, and it's not if you're gonna say that Allah was loving himself for eternity, then that means he would need someone else still to express the highest form of love. And that, once again, will make him illogical. Are you Muslim, bro?
I am.
Okay.
Are you Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So which law of logic does Allah violate?
The law of non-contradiction.
The law of non-contradiction. Perfect. And what's the law of non-contradiction?
Something cannot be true and false in the same way, in the same sense.
Okay. So you believe that Jesus is God.
We're talking about Allah here, bro.
So you're talking about Allah being illogical, but
Right. Can you explain who was he loving before creation?
Pardon?
Can you explain who was he loving before creation?
Who was he loving?
Mm-hmm.
There was no one to love.
Okay, so he wasn't the most loving for eternity, right?
He was still the most loving, wasn't he?
How?
Well, if he loves at all, then he's the most loving out of everybody that was there, which was nobody. So he's all loving.
So he was loving nothing?
He can be all loving.
Yeah, right. How? How can he be the most loving or all loving if there's nothing to love?
Because he can love.
Love what?
He has the ability to love.
Can you demonstrate an example of someone loving nothing?
So how is that a contradiction? You said it was
Well, I mean, it fall eventually when we start to break this down, Allah will fall into law of non-contradiction. However, we got to get there first. We got to get there first. So you're saying he was loving nothing. Can you demonstrate how you can do that?
Like, can you love yourself?
Oh, so Allah is nothing?
Pardon?
So he wasn't loving nothing. He was loving himself? Is that what you're saying?
So he can love it. He can love himself.
Okay, good.
We know God is something.
Good. All right, good. So he was loving himself. Okay. So is there a higher expression of love that is higher than self-sacrifice?
That is higher than self-sacrifice.
Yes. Is there a higher expression of love than self-sacrifice?
Yeah.
What?
Saving the other one and not sacrificing his own. I'd say that's just stupidity, to be honest.
Wait. So saving everyone and not sacrificing is a higher expression of love than self-sacrifice?
You can save the other person rather than having to self-sacrifice yourself. Like your example before.
I'm not asking what can you do. I'm asking for a self-sacrifice. So for example, hold on, brother. Hold on. Let me give you an example. Because according to your guys' belief, you guys believe into giving to the poor, correct? Charity.
Yeah.
That's a form of self-sacrifice. So that's an expression of I'm thinking of someone else before myself. I'm going to give money that I don't have to give to someone who's in need. So now I'm going to give that to them. Is there a higher expression of love than that?
There could be. Like, what's your point?
Like what? Okay, good. There could be. What? Give me an example.
Okay, like I just said, like teaching that person how to make money rather than just giving them a handout.
Do you think that's a higher expression of love than a self-sacrifice? Okay, good. So if we're going to compare two scenarios, if a person who is poor, if we're going to see which one's a higher expression of love, okay? And we'll see what the chat decides too, okay? Who thinks is the higher expression of love? In the two scenarios, for scenario A, all right, you have a person who is in need, who doesn't have money, but he is about to die because he needs a donation of an organ, okay? And then you have another person, the same scenario, that same person is poor, but someone teaches them how to make money. Which one is a higher expression of love? Sacrificing something of yours so that they can have life, or sacrificing your time to teach them how to make money? Which one's a higher expression of love?
What, out of those two scenarios?
Yeah.
What, saving a life or giving someone money?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Money.
Yes. Which one's a higher expression of love?
Probably saving a life.
Huh?
Probably saving a life.
Okay. So that scenario is going to be more valuable, correct?
Yeah, in those two scenarios, yeah. But what's your point?
My point is there's not a higher expression of self-sacrifice, of love.
What does that have to do with Allah being Allah?
Okay, good. So if Allah is the one that establishes love, and that means he would necessarily have to perform the highest expression of love. So how is he expressing self-sacrifice before creation?
But the point is, if there's no other expression of love, right, other than Allah, just there, anything he does, any expression of love is the highest level of love. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Based on what?
He says he's the most loving.
I know what he says. That's just a claim. I'm asking how. How is he the most loving if he doesn't do self-sacrifice?
If he doesn't do self-sacrifice, is that so? Your definition of love is self-sacrifice?
No, I'm
So
saying
if
it. I'm saying it is the highest expression of love.
You just spoke now, yeah? Can I make my point?
No, well, no, you asked me a question. So you asked me a question. Hey, you asked me a question. That's not what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that's all the only way to love. I'm saying it's the highest expression. Oh my God, dude. You're not listening. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying it is the only way to love. I'm saying it's the highest expression of love.
Yeah, so what's your point?
You agree, correct?
It's the highest expression of love when everything's around, like creation's here, yeah.
Right, bro. Is love eternal? Is love eternal or created? Is love eternal or created? Is love eternal or created?
Is love eternal or created? What are you talking about?
Oh God! Now, see, all right. See now, hey, I know when the expiration time is there. That's it. When they start saying, "Whoa, what are you talking about?" Created. When they don't know what simple words mean that they've been using the whole time, this is when you know it's time to go. Time to cut it off. Let's get to the next one, because this is crazy. This is nuts. Now we don't know what created and eternal means, but we were talking about it this whole time. This whole time. It just gets absurd, man. It's crazy. Now we don't know what it means. Wait, what do you mean by created? What do you mean by time? Wait. What's an attribute? We had somebody ask. He was saying Allah is the most loving is an attribute for eternity. He was saying this for the whole conversation, not this last guest, like 2-3 guests ago. Oh yeah, this is an attribute of his. Then at the end of the conversation, wait, what's an attribute? You've been using the word the whole time. Now you don't know what an attribute is. What the hell? It's just one of their ways. When they get stuck, man, they want to start defining simple words to buy time because they don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. I don't know. This looks like it's a Christian. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, host? So they're taught to deceive, man. It's called takia.
Yeah, I know, bro. Thanks. You a Christian?
Just wanted to say that. Also, yes, I am, bro. And I'm gonna jump off this because I know you have it up here for Muslims. Just wanted to say, to curtail your argument, I back you up with the verse that says, "The Lamb of God who was slain from the foundations of the world." God had always had it planned that He was gonna self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
The incarnation of Christ. It was always planned. So I agree with you completely. The highest form of love.
Thank
Good
you,
job,
bro.
man.
Appreciate it, bro. God bless. Yeah, guys. By the way, Bible study from last night. We keep saying it. Peace is doing an amazing job promoting this for me. But every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're doing a Bible study on my Discord. We're breaking down the Gospel of Matthew. It's only an hour long every week, and I don't know how long the Bible study is going to take. If it takes all year, so what? That's what we're going to do. But we're going to go take our time and break down these verses. You've never had a Bible study like this before in the Gospel of Matthew. I promise you. And so go ahead. It's 100% free to join the Discord and be a part of it. Free to participate in it. Free to watch it. If you guys can't make it, because I know there's a lot of people that are like from Europe and Australia, different parts of the world. If you guys can't make it because of that time zone, I am recording it and uploading it on a playlist on my YouTube. So you guys can go check it out. I did upload last night's Bible study last night, so it's up there, and you guys can go and check that out. Also, everybody on YouTube, guys, everybody on TikTok, all right? Shout out to everybody on YouTube right now, though, because the views are starting to go up on the live on YouTube. I just want to update my people from TikTok because this journey started on TikTok, okay? You know what my goal was. You know, even last year in June, there were still some personal things I had to go through in my life that I was gearing up for the new year in order to make a big push for YouTube. And you guys, by your gracious donations and everything, I was able to get equipment, microphones, cameras, and everything to reinvest into the stuff that I'm doing so I can do big things on YouTube, okay? Now, about a little over 30 days ago, we started to make a big push of constantly dropping content on YouTube, streaming the Best Morning Live on TikTok on YouTube at the same time as TikTok. And I just want to give you guys an update, all right? Like just a couple of weeks ago, I was like, come on, guys, let's go. We're going to hit 1,000 subs. We got to hit 1,000 subs to get monetized, et cetera, right? We are now on the tail end and about to be at 2,000 subs only within a couple of weeks. Okay. The last video I dropped yesterday is first video that's gone over 5,000 views in less than 24 hours. It's crazy. It's crazy what's happening right now. So all of the work that we've been putting on every single week is starting to compound right now, and we're really starting to reap the benefits. So I just wanted to give everybody here, because I know a lot of my regular viewers are here right now on TikTok. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in me, for donating, for investing your time. Even if you're just here as a mod and moderating the chat and everything, all of this has helped. So thank you guys so much for everything you guys have done. I really appreciate it, and it's just up from here. It's just the beginning. So we're gonna keep this thing going. So okay, let's get to the next guest. Next. What's up? What's up?
So I'm a Christian. I know this is only for Muslims, but I had a question that I've heard many Muslims ask, and I was wondering if you could, like,
sure,
I don't know, break it down, or like, I want to see your point of view of it. Do you mind?
No,
if
I don't.
ask that question?
No, you can ask.
So I think it was on another like TikTok live as a Muslim, and so he was asking the Christian like something along the lines of, is being begotten or being unbegotten? I forgot what the word is. Like the opposite of hypostatic.
Hypostatic.
Yeah. So he was saying is unbegotten a necessary attribute of God, and so he was basically trying to get at the point that if it is, but Jesus is begotten, then how is he God? But if it's not a necessary attribute, then how is he God? Do you understand what
I do, yeah. I'm very familiar with the argument, and what's going on is the Muslims, what they're doing with the Trinity in metaphysics. You have to understand the metaphysics of the Trinity, okay? So there's two categories, okay? And you'll understand what this is if we break it down real simple, okay? There is the nature, right, of God, and then there is the person of God, or the hypostasis, okay? So for us, it's the same thing. You are a human. That is what you are. That's your nature, okay? But you are B Saeed, right? That's who you are, okay? Though what you are and who you are, they are inseparable and they work together. However, they're two different things. Does that make sense? So in God, we're made in his image, so it's the same thing. God has a nature, but God is also a who, all right? But the difference between us and him is we are only limited to being one who. God is three persons, exactly, right? So that's the difference going to be with us. He doesn't have the limitation of being one, right? So he is three persons, one being, okay? So what they're doing is this. When we're talking about God's nature, it is necessary to be God, to be unbegotten, meaning you're not created. You're not within time. You're eternal. That's what it means to be unbegotten, okay, in that sense, all right? So it is necessary, if you're God, to be unbegotten within your nature, right? But when we're talking about right, but when we're talking about Jesus being begotten, we're not talking about his nature. We're talking about his relation to the Father, because he is the Son, not the Father, and therefore the relationship with them is that the Father is the one that begets the Son. That's what makes them Father and Son. Does that make sense? But because they share the same nature.
So then it's
1 second. Let me just wrap it up with this. Because they share the same identical nature, because there's no separation or division outside of time, space, and matter. Therefore, Jesus's nature, which is the same as the Father's, is unbegotten, and that's necessary because he is God. But as far as his personhood or his hypostasis, he is begotten because that is the relation of him and the Father. Does that make sense?
Okay. I feel like it's clicking a little more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically only? But then, like, is it only an attribute of the or not an attribute? I forgot what the word was. Like a quality of Jesus to be unbegotten. Is that only to the relationship to the Father?
No, when we say Jesus is unbegotten, we're saying that is
Sorry, begotten. Sorry.
yeah, begotten. When we're saying he's begotten, that's only in relation to his hypostasis or his person, who he is. Right? That's how we identify who he is, because that's his relation to the Father.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for that question, man. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for that question. And yeah, and guys, this is a popular argument that the Muslims are doing right now. It's a trend. They try to confuse Christians and conflate the terms between nature and hypostasis, right? So the problem is what they're trying to say is, oh, Jesus is begotten and unbegotten at the same time, like a squared circle. That's not the same way in the same sense. He is unbegotten as far as his nature, because he shares the same nature as the Father, but he's begotten when it comes to his hypostasis. Those are two different categories, okay? If I say something is blue, and if I say one thing is blue and red at the same time, that's a contradiction. But if I say two different things, one is blue and one is red, that's not a contradiction just because they're opposing colors, right? So we're talking about two categories here. We're talking about the nature and the person. Jesus' nature is unbegotten. His hypostasis is begotten. That's not a contradiction because those are two different senses that we're discussing that. So anyways, thanks for the question so we can address it to the Christians. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Yep. What's up?
Yeah, I would like to hear the argument of
Sure.
Allah being illogical.
Are you Sunni?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's how it goes. The attributes of Allah, I would assume you believe are eternal and within his nature, correct?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. So, and his nature has to be eternal, correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, good. All right. So one of his attributes is being the most loving. So if him being the most loving is an eternal attribute, who was he loving before creation?
Nothing.
Okay. So he wasn't the most loving then before creation.
No, he was.
Okay. So
You
if
can
he
choose when he shows his attributes, bro.
Oh, okay. So his attributes then can change.
No, they don't change. Just he has attributes, but he shows them whenever he wants.
Okay. So he can so the attribute can turn on and off.
Yeah.
Okay. That's change.
Yeah, maybe that's not the right word, on and off. Maybe it's he uses them when he wants.
Yeah. So it could be inactive and inactive.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's a change.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you can't say your God is. Here's where the logical contradiction. This is a contradiction. You can't have something that is one thing and then another thing at the same time in the same way in the same sense. So if you're going to say Allah is eternal, that means he doesn't change. But you can't say he's eternal and then say he changes at the same time. That's a contradiction. So then your God is illogical.
I mean, he has all these attributes, right? He shows them when he wants. I don't see the problem there. Yeah.
Okay, you don't see a problem with saying that your God changes?
No, not really when we're talking about the attributes.
Okay, bro. I mean, cool. That's good. That's cool. You don't see the problem, but thank you for allowing me to lay out the argument because I'm quite sure that 98 people understand and see the issue. The issue is that if there's change, that means whatever that thing is changing is necessarily within time, because being outside of time means no changing. In time means you can change. So if Allah's nature can change, then that means he cannot be the creator of everything because he is within time, meaning that Allah himself is created.
So who would have created Allah then if he's created?
The actual creator, Yahweh. So Allah is more than likely Satan or a demon that rebelled.
So wait, so Yahweh created Allah?
Yeah.
So Yahweh created basically a satanic religion, or
You don't believe Allah created Satan?
No, of course I believe that. I'm using your logic here.
This is not opposing to neither one of our beliefs that God creates a being that then he rebels all out of his free will. No, it's not.
So did your God create Islam?
No, I would say probably Satan did.
Okay, so does the Quran confirm the Bible?
It does, yeah.
So Satan confirms the Bible?
Yeah, and that would be a contradiction within himself, which would prove that he's false. Yeah.
Proves that who's false?
If Satan is the one that started Islam and he confirms the Bible, hoping that no one would be able to actually check what it says, and then deceives everybody into worshiping him, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. So, anyways, do you have anything else on it being illogical?
Satan is the best of deceivers. There's no
And yeah, Satan is the best of deceivers, and funny enough, that's one of Allah's titles too. He's the best of deceivers.
Is the best deceiver. I'm using your logic.
Right. That's right along with Satan. So yeah, you're right. You're proving my point. You're proving my point.
No, you're running from the point I was trying to make.
What am I? Wait. I'm running from the point. You're running from him being illogical. You didn't have any answer for that.
No, I didn't run. I addressed it, bro.
Yeah, you addressed it. So you addressed it. So you had no argument. You just laid down and said, yeah, you're right. He changes. And
I didn't run though.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You didn't run, but you still haven't like processed what you just said, bro. And you're like moving on from the conversation as if you saying that Allah is a creature, as if that has no implications to it.
No, but it's not like that, bro. I understand.
It's not like what? It's not like what?
Like, obviously, it's not like. Come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
Like, how is he a creature, bro? Like, what do you mean?
Khalil, are you like intoxicated or something?
Nah.
You sure?
Yeah, of course, bro.
Okay, bro. Yeah, I mean,
I understand the argument at hand, but I'm just saying.
You understand the argument, but you don't see a problem with it. You don't see a problem of admitting that Allah is created.
Now, if anything, I would say it makes not that, but I would say it makes Allah logical because there has to be the creation to show his attributes, right? To show it to the,
right.
You can't just do it to anything, right?
I understand that would be the most honest way to explain how he shows his attribute is through his creation. But I don't think you understand the implications of that. The implications would mean that he is necessarily created.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah, bro. So why do you worship a created being?
I mean, regardless, I worship Islam because I just believe it's the truth, bro.
You believe it's true. You believe it's true to worship a created being.
No, I don't believe he's a created being.
You do. You just said he changes. You admitted that, and you didn't see it. Yeah, I mean, it's only things that are created change.
Yeah, I don't believe he's created though, bro. I understand your argument, but I'm saying I don't believe. So I don't worship. I don't think, at least, I don't worship a created being, bro.
Okay, bro. Well, you need to go look into if it's logical to believe a being is eternal and changes at the same time. So why don't you go ask ChatGPT that or something? See what it tells you. Take it easy, brother. Do some studying. Shout out to YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for the views. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate you guys.
Hello, brother. How are you?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Honestly, just before we started our conversation, I just want to say, I like the stuff you do, and you raise a lot of good points, and I can respect it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Are you Muslim?
Yeah, of course, but I'm just on here because I don't really understand the core, the kind of the base of what you're saying, but I can understand it to an extent, but just the details of it.
Okay. Are you Muslim?
Yes.
Sunni?
Yes.
Okay. So, which part didn't you understand of my argument of the last guest?
I guess it's just the part where, okay, so you brought up the example of the fact that he's the most loving, or at least we claim that. But how can he be the most loving if there was nothing to love because his attribute is eternal?
Yeah.
I think I came up with a reason for that. I think I can put into an example. For example, we say that he's the creator, but we say that his attributes are more like it's like an intrinsic. It's like a will. It's like he has the will to create. So obviously, the creator, it's a verb, but we imply it as a will, and he has the will to create and has the will to love from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is that the attributes are just a faculty or an ability, but it doesn't actualize.
Like the highlight of himself.
But it doesn't. Yeah, and it's grounded. It is his being, his self. It is intrinsic in him. However, it doesn't get expressed or actualized until creation. Is that right?
I think he has the intrinsic value, but the way that it's highlighted is only shown to us during creation. Yes.
So, can any of these attributes be expressed before creation?
Not outwardly, no. Not directly, no.
Can it be expressed in any way before creation?
Other than just being in his nature, I'm not too sure.
Okay, so that's where the argument would lie. Okay,
yeah.
The answer would have to be no. It doesn't get expressed before creation. He just always eternally had the ability to. That's what we say is eternal within him, and then when creation happens, then it gets expressed. There's two problems with that. Number one, that would mean that there is a change that happens within him, which would mean that he is a creature, not eternal. Number two, this would also mean that he is dependent on creation in order to express attributes within him. He can't do it on his own.
Okay, that's actually a good point. I see what you mean, but the thing is, let me re-clarify. So the way you said it, yeah, I can agree with you to an extent, but still, like the attribute of most loving, like I don't really know if you need something to love to be loving. Like I think it's unconditional for him. I think maybe his love is not like ours.
Okay, so he was loving nothing. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, there was nothing to love, or maybe some would say that he was loving the idea of creation.
Oh, so okay, so you understand that the idea of creation is not the existence of creation; it's just an idea and his knowledge. Right?
Are you aware of cogito ergo sum?
No, but follow me here. If you're going to say that Allah has all knowledge, therefore he has the foreknowledge of creation, right?
Yeah.
That's just him having the knowledge of the existence of creation, right? That's not the actual existence of himself. So if you're saying that he loved the idea or the knowledge of creation, then that means he's loving his knowledge, not the creation.
Right, okay, yeah, but he's still expressing his love, so that's something.
So then he's expressing his love to his knowledge? That's what you're saying?
His knowledge is that's not his direct knowledge. That's just like an extension of his knowledge. So yeah, that's basically.
So he's loving his knowledge, is what you're saying?
Not directly, not his intrinsic knowledge, but he's loving the idea of creation. That's something that
that's not an actual love to creation. That's in love to the idea of creation.
Yeah, but with him, it's reciprocated perfectly. Like the idea of creation to him is the same as existence of creation, because the way he's foreseeing it, it's perfect. So he's not really distinguishing it in any way, shape, or form. It's basically the same.
Okay. So you're saying that let's just go with he's loving himself. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, the way you're putting it makes it seem very egotistical.
I wasn't going to say that, but you're right. It is. It's narcissistic, right? But I wasn't going to do that. I'll even just grant it to you and say, okay, it's not it's not egotistical or narcissistic, even though it kind of is. But let's just, for the sake of argument, say it's not. There's still problems with this, because would you agree that the highest expression of love is self-sacrifice? And self-sacrifice doesn't mean you have to get unalived. Self-sacrifice could be something like giving to the poor or charity.
Yeah. That's a good question, but I feel like if I answer that, that would be a really subjective question. Like, I don't think that would contribute to this conversation.
Okay, so subjective. So let's answer it. Let's ask it this way then. Do you believe that the most effective way to love? Do you think there's another way of loving that is more effective than a self-sacrifice?
Like utilitarianism type thing.
I have no idea what that is, so you have to explain.
Like, sorry, okay, excuse my language, but like the most effective, like in what sense? Like effective as in reaches the most people.
As in we get the highest impact for the highest results, I guess. More results.
Oh.
Yeah. So it could be reaching people. It depends on what it is.
I say the most would be God actually not putting Satan on earth and him just showing his love outwardly.
Not putting Satan on earth and then dude, what does this have to do with self-sacrifice? Like you're saying that's a higher expression of love?
Yeah, because that is like pure love, because that's pure love. But the thing is like that is like raw love, but that doesn't really logically follow with what I believe, because it's not effective in the sense that God doesn't really need us, so he doesn't really need to show pure love like that. He can just tailor it to himself, because to an extent it is self-centered. Yeah, it is self-centered because we're not really dependent on, or we're dependent on him, but he's not dependent on us.
Okay, let me ask it this way. Okay, so let's make it less subjective. Do you believe that self-sacrifice is a form of love?
Yeah, that's how you can show love to someone. Yeah.
Okay, can Allah do that?
Can Allah sacrifice himself?
Yeah, can he express that form of love?
I believe that he can't sacrifice himself, but it's not really
so then
his inability to do so. It's just the fact that the question doesn't really.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Love is something that is supposed to be grounded within him, correct?
Grounded as in what?
As in, like, he is the source of love, right? Love. Do you think love is created, or is it eternal?
No. Yeah. So he gives us some of his attributes.
So it's not created, right?
Our love is not. Our love is created, because he has to create a certain type of love that extends from his.
I'm talking about the concept of love, bro. Love is not something that we own. It's just something that we either experience or do, right?
All right, sorry. Thank you for your patience, bro. My bad. But in that sense, his love is uncreated.
Okay, so love in general is not created. It's something that's grounded within God.
It's uncreated and it's there.
Okay, so if Allah is the one that grounds love, why can't he perform the highest expression of love? Or why can't he, let's forget that. Why can't he express self-sacrifice, which is a form of love?
Okay, so self-sacrifice, it's not it wouldn't be contextual to him. It would be contextual to us. Like in our human lives, we could sacrifice our time for other people, and that would be a showcase of love. But for him, there's a difference between sacrifice. There's a difference between killing myself for someone else and God not being able to logically die because he's eternal.
Yeah, death doesn't need to play a role in self-sacrifice. Like I said, giving to charity is a form of self-sacrifice.
Okay, I agree.
So, of course, we can take it to the extreme of death, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that. What I'm saying is there is a form of love that Allah cannot perform, and he especially can't perform it if he's the only one that exists before creation.
Right. Okay. So,
therefore we have like a deficiency here, because there's something that he himself grounds that he cannot establish himself.
Yeah. But the thing is, with him, he can't really insert him into the conversation. Like if I say, okay, I can go in the toilet, you can't insert God into my place and be like, okay, God can go in the toilet, because that's not what I believe, because it's kind of a contradiction. That
analogy wouldn't apply.
The sentence is a contradiction.
That analogy wouldn't apply, because you going to the toilet is intrinsic to your nature, because you have a digestive system, right?
Yeah.
We're not saying God has a digestive system, right? So therefore, that wouldn't, even though God created the digestive system. That doesn't mean he necessarily has to ground the digestive system. However, love is grounded within God, and it's something that we do. It's not something we invented. It's something that we participate in because God is the one that grounded the reality of love, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the problem is God cannot actually, or your God cannot actually express a form of that love. And we can. That's a problem.
Okay, yeah. I can concede that, but then you have to prove that that actually has value. Okay, I can concede that.
So what has
but
value?
You have to prove that our scale is worth more than God's scale.
You're talking about like I'm not even trying. I'm trying to move away from, because you bring up a good point. The question could be perceived as subjective, right? So I'm moving away from that. I'm just saying that there is a form of love love is supposed to be grounded within God, and there is a form of love that your God cannot do. But we can.
I agree with that.
If I can do something that God can't, right, and it's that is grounded within His nature, that's a problem. Right? I know God doesn't go to the toilet, right? So I do something that God can't do there, right? Because
but it's not grounded in His nature, because
correct.
The act of sacrificing yourself, that's grounded in our nature. That's something that we perceive. That's not something that God. That's not something that's in God. That's something that we created, that we've designed for ourselves.
Okay, so let's break it down real simple, because I would agree that if God. There's no way for God to be deficient if there's an actual God for Him to sacrifice, right? But let's look at sacrifice differently. Let's look at it as like giving to another, right? Like we're going to give to another. That's a form of love, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, before creation, how can He perform that love? How can He give?
How can He give love?
How can He give? How can He get? How can He give at all? I mean, you can't give to yourself, right? How can He give at all?
But like I said, the attributes, they're in play from the beginning, because that's His will. His attributes are basically just His will, and that's His will to do things, or His will to accomplish things.
His will to do things and accomplish things. I don't understand.
Like if we say in the context of most loving, that when we say He's the most loving, we say that in the unconditional sense that He has the will to love.
Okay, so he's just looking forward to loving, but He's not eternally loving.
He's not eternally loving in the sense that He has nothing to love from the beginning.
Yeah, so then the attribute.
Existence.
So then the attribute is not eternal. Then Him being the most loving is not eternal.
Him being loving is not eternal in the sense that there was nothing to love, but it's eternal in the sense that He had the will from the beginning.
Okay, so what you're bringing is probably what the argument. What you're probably trying to say is what the last two guests were saying, is that it's not the action of loving is not what we were saying is eternal. It's only His ability to love that is eternal, and then He began to love once there was something to love. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Okay, that once again, that's still a problem, because if would you agree that capacity or ability to love is within His nature?
Yeah, his nature is that He has the ability to love. Yes.
Okay, so that ability to love is within His nature. That means it has to be eternal. That means it has to be unchanging. Do you agree?
Yeah, he never stops from wanting to love to not wanting to love. He's always wanting to love.
That's fine. I'll grant you that. I'm just saying, do you agree that when something is eternal, that means it's unchanging?
It's unchanging, but you have to apply context to it, yes.
Right. Well, unchanging, any change would be a contradiction, because change is only within time. And if you're saying that this thing is eternal, that means that this thing is outside of time. Therefore, it's not subject to change.
So if we're talking about in the context of time, then we can say that it's eternal, because issue is not time, because He's eternally having the will to love.
Good. Okay, good. I'll grant you that. Here's the problem. I'll grant you that He's always had the ability to love. But if that ability goes from being inactive to then active, that would be a change.
Right. Okay. So maybe this is not going to be the best example, but help me on this one, okay? So if I build a house, right? If I build a house, and let's say that today I feel the will and I feel the need to build a house. That doesn't mean that my will to build the house is going to be changing while I'm building the house, or even after the house is finished. I'll still have the capacity to love the house and want to build the house. It's not the issue of wanting to build the house. It's the issue of whether or not the house has been completed.
Yeah, I understand that. But you are a creature, so this is not going to apply, brother.
Yeah, of course. Not,
so the problem
exactly.
with your analogy is, I understand that there are certain things, not everything changes just because you go from the state of wanting to build a house to then actually building the house, right?
Yeah, you're confusing a mental state to an entire physical action.
Sure. But what I'm saying is that these attributes that are eternal within him, if they are eternal, then that means they cannot change in any way, shape, or form. Meaning that if there's any change of state within his nature, then he is created. He cannot be eternal.
The issue is that he's not changing in nature because he's always wanted.
I'm not saying his entire nature is changing. What I'm saying is his nature is going from one state to another. So, for example, for me, for us, we are humans. We have a human nature, right? Our nature can go from sleeping to not sleeping.
Of course, yeah.
That's a change.
Our nature is that we feel the need to. Our bodies feel the need to sleep.
Okay, that's a change, correct?
A change from what?
From sleeping to not sleeping.
Right, but that's not our nature. That's just our response to our nature.
That's fine, brother. That's still a change, correct? Our natures just went through a change, correct? Not a change in human nature, just a state as to where the nature is.
No. Our natures aren't changing. Our ability to cope with that nature is changing. Like our response to it is changing because we're responding to it by sleeping or not sleeping. That's a change, but the intrinsic value is not changing. It's there.
Okay, but it's still going through a change as far as time. There was a point where you're sleeping, and then a point where you're not sleeping. Correct?
Right.
Okay. So I think here the important thing for you to understand here is understand the definition of time. The definition of time is the measurement of change or motion, meaning that something went from point A to point B, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
So if Allah's nature goes from not loving, point A, to loving, point B,
right,
that can only happen within time.
Yeah. So the thing is that, sorry, I know you have a lot of patience with me. I'm really young. I don't really know any of this stuff. But the thing is, like his nature, right? His nature is not changing. It's not going from A to B. His nature is always A, and then he's just responding to it in different ways.
So, do you believe Allah's nature can enter time?
Sorry?
Do you believe Allah's nature, Allah can enter creation?
Are you saying, do I believe Allah can enter into creation?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the question doesn't really make as much sense as it could.
So you don't it's very simple, bro. I don't know how much more basic I can get. Can he enter creation? Can he take his nature and go in creation?
No.
Thank you. So because his nature cannot enter creation, you cannot apply created things to his nature. It's not possible. If you're going to say that his nature can go through a state of change, no matter how small it is, you are saying that Allah's nature can go within creation.
Brother, his nature is not entering. Brother, his nature is not changing. His nature is there regardless.
It's going through a state of change.
No,
you cannot be You cannot be eternal and go through a state of change, because that means you're within time, brother. You're not.
Brother, he's not. He himself, his value, his intrinsic value is not changing.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that.
You're arguing that his
You're
his
focused.
love
You're
is,
focused on the entire value of his nature. I'm only focused on, because even the smallest, like for example, if the Quran has even one mistake or contradiction, then it's no longer from God. Correct?
yeah. Correct.
Okay. If there's, same way goes for this. If there's even one little hint of change within his essence, he can no longer be eternal. It's the same strict standard. It has to be. Otherwise, you're saying there's a part of him that's created, and therefore he cannot be the creator. It's that.
Right,
It's
exactly,
that strict.
The keyword in his essence. Keyword in his essence. His intrinsic essence.
Right. So if there's any state of change, even the slightest, like from being inactive to active, then that means that that thing changed.
Right. But can I just say before we continue, being inactive and being active, that's not a nature. That's a response to it.
That's a change.
It's a change, but that's not a change to nature. That's a response to nature.
It is, because would you say that the capacity for him to love is his nature?
Yes.
And that capacity went from inactive to active, a change, right?
No, brother. First of all, his love doesn't have a ceiling.
All right, see you later, bro. I'll spend enough time with you. See you later. There's only so much you can do. I was being patient with him because he was nice. He was actually willing to listen, but we hit the wall, and there's nothing you can do when you hit the wall, man. What's up?
I have a language barrier, if it is okay.
Probably not. Not for this conversation. Wouldn't be okay, man.
All right, then.
All right. Sorry about that, bro. See you later.
It's okay.
What's up?
Hey, so what would like be your basis for saying Allah is illogical?
Did you hear my last conversation?
No, I actually just joined like not too long ago.
Oh, okay. Are you a Sunni? First of all, that's important to know.
Yes.
Okay. So you do take that Allah's 99 attributes are eternal, correct?
What do you mean by eternal? Like his attribute of speech? He speaks when he wills, but he doesn't just like eternally speak at all times.
I'm talking about, when I say eternal, that means that it is for eternity outside of time. It doesn't change.
What do you mean by time? Because you have to, when it comes
time is
like,
the measurement.
I'm Salafi, so
time is the measurement of change.
Well, not in that sense. No, time. There's actually different views of time. So one view of time that we take is that it's the I guess the relation between different events happening. So time isn't a physical thing. It isn't something that you can touch and actually mold and change.
Wait, what'd you say it was? The relation of what?
A relation between events happening.
So from one event.
The sun sets,
that's a change. That's a change.
It's not a change because time isn't physical. It's not something you can touch.
I never said it was physical. I just said it's a measurement of change. You just said like from the sunset to the sunrise or whatever it was, right? That's a change. That's point A to point B. It's a change. It's movement. You don't think you don't think there's a change. You don't think there's a change when it's daylight out and then then the sun sets and it's dark. You don't think that's a change?
Well, yeah, created things change in the course of time.
Thank you. So when I say, thank you. Okay, so you agree. So him being God is eternal, therefore he doesn't change, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So are his attributes eternal?
So we break it down to attributes that are a part of his essence, what he is, and attributes that he can do in moments in time.
Okay, so the attributes that are part of his essence are they eternal?
Yes.
Okay. So is him being the most loving, is that part of his nature?
Yes, he is the most loving, but he loves according to who he wills.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I don't care about that. Okay, so if he is loving and that is eternal, so you admit that doesn't change, correct?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So before creation, who was he loving?
He had the attribute of love. He was able to love, but he had to create things in order to act out that attribute of love.
Good, thank you. So that means he's dependent.
No, he's not dependent.
You said he had to create in order to love.
Well, obviously, it has to be something there for you to act out the attribute of
I agree.
love. But him being loving, he had that ability within
Sure.
him at all times.
I agree, but that's why my prompt is true. Allah is illogical.
It's not true, because if you're a merciful person, you're merciful in your essence. If there's no one around, you can't be merciful to anyone.
I agree.
You're still merciful.
I agree. I agree. That still goes. That still means it's a change.
That's not a change.
It is.
Because you're still
just like the
merciful.
sunrise and the sunset is a
Acting
change.
out your mercy.
Just like the sunrise and the sunset is a change, so is from giving mercy and not giving mercy.
So if a fire is hot, no one's around to feel the heat. Is the fire still hot?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing.
Okay, but no, it actually wouldn't.
But the fire is still hot.
It actually wouldn't be, because the fire doesn't need anything else to be hot. But when it comes to being loving, loving is a relational thing. It requires multiple subjects. That's why you said he wasn't loving anything. He had to create in order to love. That's why you said that, because it's a relational thing. You can't have love without relationship. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, good. So I'll grant it to you. He had the attribute of love within him, but was he actually loving before creation?
But that's
Just answer the question, bro. Was he actually loving before creation?
If there's nothing to love, you can be loving without loving something that's not in creation.
Okay, how? How can you love nothing?
I didn't say he can love nothing. He has the attribute of love within himself.
I already granted that to you. Sure, he has the attribute. I'm not arguing that.
You have the ability to be a parent, right?
brother. But the thing is, just because I have the ability to be a parent doesn't mean I'm a parent until there's a change, like having a child. So that still doesn't apply. I'm going to go ahead and grant you that he eternally has the ability to love. But my question to you is, was he loving before creation or not?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Was he actualizing the love before creation? Was he expressing it?
If there's nothing around to express your love, then you can't put that love onto something.
So then the answer is no, right?
He loves who he will when he wills.
So then the answer is no. He wasn't loving. He wasn't expressing his love before creation.
Yes, because he has to choose to who specifically put his love on.
Good. So that means that his ability to love went from being inactive to active. Just like the sun rises and the sun sets, that's a change. So would that be. That means your God is not eternal.
That doesn't negate the fact that God is eternal.
Yes, it does.
Because I already told you
because there's a change.
That part of his attributes are his eternal attributes. Like, he will always be the greatest. He will always have the ability of being a creator. He will always be high above his creation. He will always be the all knowledgeable. But he has attributes that he acts out in what we perceive as time. Meaning, God always has the power to destroy whatever he wills.
Hey, Ibn Rashid, this is not a hey, bro, this is not a preaching corner, bro. Like at the end of the day, you said that these attributes are eternal, meaning, and you agreed with me, unchanging. But now you're describing that this attribute, which you say is an ability, goes from being inactive to active, which would be a change. So you contradicted. So you don't agree. So you don't agree that the capacity for him to love goes from being inactive to active.
He always had the attribute of love within himself.
I'm not arguing that. Hey, Ibn Rashid, stop saying he always had the capacity to love. I already granted to you that 5 times. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Go ahead and say that. Go ahead and believe that. The point is that the capacity to love, that thing, whatever that is, that attribute, went from being off to on. That's a change.
The attribute never was off. What are you talking about?
Okay, good. So that means, okay, good. It was never. So, okay, good. Rashid, follow. Stay on that. Let's see if you're going to stand 10 toes on that. You said it was never off. That means it was always loving. Good. So who was he loving?
The attribute was never off.
Right. It was never.
Always had the ability to be
All right, brother, listen. The ability being there and it being active are two different things. For example, the light bulb that's above my head right now, it always has, as long as it's put together, it always has the capacity to shine a light. That doesn't mean it's always shining a light. Agreed?
Exactly.
Thank you. So I'm okay. So let's look at his attribute of being. So let's look at his attribute of being the most loving. Let's look at that as being the light bulb. Okay. I'm not saying the ability is not there when it's off. It's still there. I'm not saying the ability is not there when it's on. It's still there. I'm agreeing with you there. But the fact that the ability went from not shining a light to shining a light is a change, which means that your God has an attribute within him that is not eternal.
The attribute is still eternal. What are you not understanding?
Yeah, dude. I'm not. Trust me, bro. It's not me that's not understanding. You're just. It's the noose, bro. When you guys take the Shahada and become a Muslim, your brain gets fried. Up is down, down is up. Like, just cannot make sense of the most basic, simple things of logic. It's a spiritual thing, man. It's sad. It's sad. You want to help, but there's only so much you can do, bro. Like, it's just a cooking of your brain and your intellect. What's up?
Yeah,
What's up?
Yeah. So, which arguments Allah is subhanahu wa ta'ala is illogical?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you Sunni?
Alhamdulillah.
All right. So then you do take that his 99 attributes are eternal, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So eternal meaning outside of time, no change.
Yes.
Okay. So him being the most loving, that would be an eternal attribute of his, correct?
Yes.
All right. Who was he loving before creation?
He could love himself.
Okay. So you're saying he was eternally loving himself?
Could be. We can also go into, because God knows the past, the future, and the hidden. He could love what is already been, what has to be made.
So which answer are you going to go with? Are you going to go with he's loving himself or he's loving future existences?
Both could be good.
Okay, let's go with the future. Let's go with the future foreknowledge. Okay, so we have the foreknowledge of something existing in the future is not the actual thing; it's the knowledge of the thing. So, are you saying he's loving his knowledge?
So, are you saying that God, so God follows the same timeline that we do?
I'm just saying that the foreknowledge, when it comes to creation, if he's going, there is a point in time, regardless of God is within time or not. There is a point where we did not exist. Otherwise, you're going to have to say that we're eternal too. Do you believe that we're eternal?
No, but the way of thinking about God is false.
I understand that when we're describing it as like a point in time because that's the only way we can describe it. But unless you're going to say that creation is eternal, which I know you don't think that means there is a point in which we did not exist, regardless of when you want to say it's within time or not. So that means there is a point as to which God only existed. Otherwise, creation and time is just an illusion.
All right, now I understand you now.
Okay, good. So I'm not trying to say that he's within time when I say that. However, before creation, before we existed, are you saying he was eternally loving his knowledge?
Would be something wrong with that?
Yeah.
How?
Because if his attribute of being loving is eternal, that means love is not created. Would you agree?
Love is not created. Love is not created. Yes, I would agree.
Yeah. So if it's not created, that means it's within God, because God is the only thing that's not created, right? So that means God is the one that grounds all reality of whatever that is, which is love, that attribute. Right. He would have to fulfill it, and he is the one that can actualize it to its fullest to its fullest capacity. Would you agree?
Yes. Yes.
Do you believe that giving to charity is a form of love?
Yes.
All right. That form of love would be a self-sacrifice.
Self-sacrifice?
Mm-hmm.
For love? How?
Well, giving to charity is a form of self-sacrifice. Would you agree?
All right.
And it's a form of love. You already agreed to that. So who was Allah demonstrating that form of love to before creation?
All right. So you're saying love is love itself and someone who is loved, and those two things must be a relation for God to be unloving. Is that your point?
My point is love is necessarily within relation. Love cannot exist without a relation. You're saying that he loves himself. That's kind of like iffy. That's more egotistical, narcissistic. But even if I were to grant it to you and say, okay, you could love yourself, still, that doesn't negate the fact that love altogether requires a relationship. So Allah, if he's on his own, he's just one person, he is incapable of expressing one of his attributes to its fullest capacity.
So that's why you're saying that God must be in relation. That's why Tawheed is false.
Right.
That's the point, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not logical. It wouldn't make sense, because if he can't ground an eternal something that's eternal like love, if he can't ground it independently, if he needs something else in order to ground it, something other than himself, what I mean, then it's no longer logical anymore. He cannot be the creator. He's dependent on something.
Yes. And why would God be able to love himself? Why would it be narcissistic?
Well, if we actually are honest with it, right? I don't usually go down this rabbit hole, but if you're going to be in good faith and ask that question, if you actually break that down, loving yourself, humans don't invent love. That's something that we receive from God, and we're able to do because of God, right? So even if you look at humans, self-love, only loving yourself and no one else, is actually a deficiency. The human will actually start to deteriorate. So, for example, if you take a human being and they're in a prison system where they have put them into solitary confinement for several months, that human being, regardless of how much he loves himself, is going to have severe psychological damage to himself. So that in itself shows you that self-love is not efficient enough. You need other people to love you. You need others to love you in order to efficiently receive love. And that is a reality of love. So if love is something intrinsic to God, then that means he would also establish that. And if he doesn't independently establish that on his own, he needs creation, then he can't be God.
Good point.
How long have you been?
I'll stay muted. Wait, I'll come back in a moment.
Before you go, how long have you been Muslim?
Alhamdulillah, my whole life.
All right, bro. Maybe, I mean, these are questions that I know it's tough when you grew up this way, okay? But these are questions you need to, I'm not saying right now or anything like that, but when you leave here at some point, you need to really ask these questions seriously, because these are major, major problems of your religion that are red flags as to why Islam is necessarily false. He cannot be the eternal God that you guys say he is if these things are true.
All right. I'll request up in like 5 minutes. All right. Is it good?
Sounds good.
All right. See you.
Yep. All right. Let's get to the next one. Show this guy. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you saying that God can't be God if he needs to depend on love or something? What are you saying?
Well, do you believe love is an eternal attribute of Allah?
I mean, that's a perspective.
I don't know what you. So is that true or not true?
That love is what? Eternal?
Is he the most loving?
Yes.
And is that eternal?
Yes, his love is eternal.
Okay, good. So his love is eternal, and
yes,
that's within his nature. So because only Allah is eternal, right? Nothing else.
Right.
So that means it's within himself. So before creation, who was he loving?
Before creation, there was nothing to love.
I know. So who was he loving?
There was nothing to love.
So he wasn't the most loving for eternity then.
What was there to love?
I agree. Nothing. So therefore he can't be eternally loving, right?
Eternally, he can't be eternally loving because there was nothing to love.
Okay, good. So you just said that him being the most
That's
loving.
a question.
Yes, you can't. You can't be eternally loving because there's nothing to love.
So how can you be eternally loving when there's nothing to love?
That's my question to you, bro.
Yeah, that's the question could flip back on you, though.
No, it can't. But can you answer the question?
What's the question?
You just asked it to yourself. How can you be eternally loving if there's nothing to love? Answer that question, please.
Okay, it doesn't make any sense, though. It doesn't even rationally.
You asked the question. You answer your own question. Let's hear. We all want to hear the answer. Hey, 100 people, 100 people, 100 people are in the chat. 100 people are in the chat watching right now. We all want to hear that answer. What's the answer to that question, bro? You thought you were so smart by giving me that question. You thought you were so intelligent. So answer the question if you're so intelligent. Go ahead.
I got you. So you saying like before the creation of what? Before the creation of any and everything, all things?
Yes.
Before anything came into existence, what was Allah loving before he created anything?
You're not answering your own question, by the way.
I'm trying to clarify.
Your own question was, how can he be eternally loving if there was nothing to love? That was your question. So I want to know the answer to that, please.
Okay, but I think you're looking at it wrong. I think
you asked the question, bro, not me. You asked it. So answer your own question.
It's an illogical question. It's an illogical question.
So you're asking illogical. So you're asking illogical questions.
Yeah, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. You looking at it, you setting up like you straw manning like this.
What does straw man mean? What does straw man mean?
It doesn't even like the point.
No.
Is
Before
this,
no. Listen to the. Hey, we're gonna. Right? Hey, you're the one that's making a claim that I'm doing something dishonest here. Go ahead and define what straw man means. I don't even think you know what that means. Go ahead. Just give us the definition of straw man. Go ahead.
It doesn't make any sense what you're saying. You saying.
Can you? Hey, before we continue on with this conversation, go ahead and define what straw man is.
It's an illogical question. Now you want to know what a straw man question is.
Yes, because I want to know. You're accusing me of straw manning. I want to know if you know what that means. Go ahead, define it.
It doesn't even matter.
Exactly, because you don't. Because you're a liar. Because you're a liar. You're trying to play games. You think you're slick, right? But I see right past you, bro. You think you're slick. You're coming up here trying to play little games, bouncing around, asking questions you can't even answer yourself. And then you're trying to project it onto me being dishonest and illogical.
That's actually straw man.
That's actually a straw man. Exactly right. So you're actually projecting all of that onto me when you're the one that's actually doing it. So anyways, bro, take it easy. I think you just heard another Muslim up here who was actually in good faith asking questions, actually see the problems, the illogical problems with your God, and you came up here trying to be a hero. It didn't work. That's what the Muslims do. When actually there's honest Muslims coming up here and saying, you know what, I see your issue. They didn't convert. They didn't renounce Islam. They're just saying, you know what, I see what the problem is. Let me go figure it out. There's nothing wrong with that. That's honest. But when Muslims see other Muslims doing that, they get like rage. They want to come up here and be heroes. And their idea is, I'm going to steamroll everybody. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen here. You ain't going to steamroll nobody, bro. I see right past y'all.
I looked up straw man on Gemini while he was saying that. He was actually telling
He was
me,
actually straw manning.
present X and then present Y and then get the guy to go against Y, and that's a straw man, which is what he did to you.
Mm-hmm. What up, Sajida?
Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Good. I'm doing good.
This topic is amazing. I did want to add something to it, though.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one of his attributes, right? The attribute that we're speaking of is called al-wadud, and I put it in the comment section. This is not, the meaning of this is not all loving, because Allah is not all loving. He has a capacity to love. So not only is his love not eternal, but it's forever changing, because he doesn't love disbelievers. So think of it this way, like he created Adam and Eve and he loved them, but then when they sinned, he didn't love them anymore. So his attributes are always changing, which is not something that the true God would be like. If God is all loving, he's going to be all loving eternally, no matter what, forever.
Right. And then,
but with Allah, he picks and chooses.
Yeah. So then that means that the attribute, So what you're saying is that basically the attribute is dependent on something else. Like it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's something within his nature that is dependent. That right there just falls. The whole house of cards falls at that point.
Yep. And it's dependent on our actions. Can you imagine?
Exactly. And
it's really sad.
The thing, the part that's sad about it is that if you don't think about it thoroughly, it doesn't seem like a problem on the surface, because we think along the lines of creation already, where, oh yeah, that's how things work. But that's only how things work within creation and within time. If you're applying something that is dependent on time and change within God, that is like saying that a squared circle exists, because now you're saying he changes but then doesn't change at the same time. That's a contradiction. So therefore, Allah is illogical. Cannot happen.
100%. God bless you, brother. God bless you. Peace. I love this topic. I just wanted to let the Muslims know that Allah's attribute of all loving is not all loving. There's a capacity to Allah's love, and it's dependent on what we do as humans, which is really sad.
Yep. Thank you so much, sister. God bless.
God bless you, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
Yes. I found the thing just a minute ago. Yes. Here it says.
And by the way, bro, before you move forward, I actually got to go in like 5 minutes, but go ahead and say what you're going to say. If I got to cut it off, just follow me and we can continue the conversation tomorrow if you want. All right. But go ahead. What'd you find?
So in Athari, that's the creed I follow.
Okay.
The most loving. It's one of God's eternal name, showing that love is part of his very nature. We don't try to explain how that love or imagine it is a relation between separate beings. God love is just an essential, inseparable quality of who he is.
Yeah, I get it. And that would be the Athari position for sure. Asharis are going to take a completely different route, but Atharis, you guys are going to take things. You guys are.
Athari just means we take scripture as is and we don't try to go to philosophical.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. You guys are going to stay away from philosophy. You're not going to use anthropomorphic language, right? Which is what the Asharis would do, right? So yeah, that would be the Athari position. Now, there's still a problem with that, because if you're saying that it's just a capacity for him to love, right? Then
Did I say it?
Yeah. So repeat what you said again. So like I said, repeat it again.
I found it here. Wait, let me say it again so I don't say anything. Al-Wadud is one of God's eternal name, showing that love is part of his very nature.
Right.
We don't try to explain how that love works or imagine it is in a relation between separate beings. God love is just an essential, inseparable quality of who he is.
Okay. So it's a quality of who he is. Okay. But you understand that by them saying that we don't try to explain that at all, we don't want to make sense of it at all, we stay away from that. That's a problem. Well, it depends on how you look at it. I see it as a problem. Maybe you don't. But if you don't see it as a problem, then what you're essentially saying is, I'm going to appeal to mystery here. I don't need to know the answers because I trust that this is
So,
true.
sir, are you saying that we as human are capable to understand the very essence of
No.
God itself?
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying
Yes,
is,
we believe in Athari that being unloving is one of his very essence.
okay.
He is unloving. It's one of his very essence. So that's why we don't go too far and deep in it.
Right. But do you believe you can know anything of his essence? Like even a little bit?
I don't want to go this far.
See, that's where the problem is. So that's where the problem is, right? You either have to say, if you're going to say it's part of his essence, therefore we can't know it, then you don't know anything about your God.
We affirm what he affirms. If God says he's unloving, he's unloving. We don't go to philosophical way.
Yeah, but you don't know what that means. You don't. If you're going to say it's part of his essence, therefore we can't know it, then you don't know what that means at all. You don't know what that is.
Wow.
Because, like, okay, so here, let me break this down. Okay, as Christians, we would agree that there is, as far as his essence is concerned, it's not something that we can know fully. Right? There's a limitation as far as what we can know an infinite being is. But there are things through his actions that we can get to know God and who he is, and part of it will be his love because of the relationship, right? So you're saying the love is intrinsic to his essence, and his essence is unknowable. Therefore, you can't know anything about it. So you're not going to question anything. So are you saying that you can't know anything, or can you know some of it?
We could know that God is unloving, but we cannot know how it works.
Okay. So you know it's all loving. What does it mean for him to be all loving? What does that, when you say you can know he's all loving, what does that mean?
Yes, then you ask me how does it work? And just like I said, we don't affirm anything that he doesn't affirm. If it was necessary for us to know it, then God will certainly have told us. But it was unnecessary, then we will certainly.
So why is it necessary for us to know that he is the most loving? What's the necessity to that?
Sir, do you sin?
Huh?
Do you sin?
Yeah, I don't know what that has to do with this though.
No, yeah, I'm gonna demonstrate. Do you ever do bad deeds?
Yeah, bro. Yes.
Bad things. Yeah, do you do bad things? When you do those things, right? What brings you back to do good? What brings you back? What's the reason you thought, no, I can't?
My free will.
Go on the right path.
My free will. I made you mod, by the way. My free will.
Your free will? Why do you choose it?
Bro, because I have free will. I don't know where this is going. What does this have to do with anything?
Because you're free will. So why do you do it? Free will, yes, free will.
I have. There's different. It depends on what it is, bro. There's many different reasons why I choose and not choose to do things, man. I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter. It depends on the circumstances. But what's your point? Just present the argument, bro. Because I don't see how this is even aligning.
Yes. The reason Allah told us unloving, when we sin, we don't say, "Oh, is God even gonna forgive me or not?" Because we know Allah is all much for unloving, right?
Okay.
God tells us to be unloving. So when we sin, we go back to Him. We ask for forgiveness.
Okay, good. So what? So then you can't. So you can know His love to a certain capacity, right?
You can't know.
You can. You have the ability to know.
You can know because He's affirmed.
Oh, right. But you also know it because He forgives you, right?
Yes, He said in the Quran, "Kana Allahu ghafurur rahim."
Brother, I don't speak Arabic.
He literally said in the Quran, that's why I affirmed. I don't go to philosophical.
Do you believe? But do you experience His forgiveness?
Yes, for me, yes.
Okay, so then you can know His love. That's part of His love, right?
Do you think that Him forgiving me is all of His love?
I'm not saying that, but you are saying you cannot know any of His love. But then now you're saying you can.
No, you can know what He affirms.
Okay, bro, it's not just I'm agreeing with you. You can know what He affirms, but you can also know what you experience of His love, right?
I mean, where do you want to go with this?
Bro, well, okay. Where I want to go with this is this. If you can know His love, then it is possible to know it. But look, let me just, for the sake of time, the sake of argument, let me just grant it to you and say that we appeal to mystery. We cannot explain how this love even goes about. We're not allowed to explain it. Metaphors, philosophy, we're not allowed to do it. Okay, go ahead and appeal to mystery when it comes to that. But here's what I will say, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but if there are Muslims that are athari, that take this perspective on their own God and appeal to mystery and cannot explain these things because these answers are too hard to answer, then they need to then they need to stop criticizing the Trinity. They need to stop opening lives trying to bash Christians who can't explain things about the Trinity, and bash them for appealing to mystery and not knowing, because you guys don't know either. You guys are hypocrites.
But we know the God we worship.
Yeah, okay, but you don't know how he's the most loving before eternity, do you?
Yes, but we know that.
I mean, before creation. Before creation, how was he the most loving? How was he the most loving before creation?
I just told you. I just gave you the answer. Like
The answer was you don't know. You don't have an answer.
We don't go to a philosophical way. If God says
Exactly. So in other words, I don't know. That's what you don't. You don't know. So guess what? Guess what? If you talk to a Christian, don't say the Trinity is confusing. I can't understand it, because you can't even understand your own God.
No. We don't say we don't understand it. At least I say we don't understand. We say it's false.
Yeah, you don't know it's false because you don't even know. You can't even explain to me why your God is logical within just basic philosophy. You can't even. You're not even allowed to express that. You can't even argue it.
We don't affirm what God doesn't affirm.
What was that?
We don't affirm what God doesn't affirm.
Oh, that's fine. So you're only going to go off of divine revelation. That's blind faith. You don't even know how that's true. You don't.
All right. So you must know that God, how God works for you to believe in Him.
No, it just needs to logically make sense. It needs to logically make sense, and then it would be a red flag to your God that when you start to ask questions in order to explain how it's logical, and then it results to, well, we don't ask those questions. No, you can't know this stuff. We don't do philosophy. We don't do that. When it starts to do that, that's a red flag. It's almost like this. It's almost like when you suspect someone who's running a business is like stealing money. And then you're like, hey, let me look at the bank accounts real quick. And everybody's like, no. We're not going to look at the bank accounts. We don't want to look at the bank accounts. We don't want to see any of the money going in and out. I don't want you to see any of my transactions. You're not allowed to see it. That's a red flag. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And that is the problem with your God. So anyways, I'm going to end it with that because I got to go. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much. Guys, thank you everybody on TikTok. You guys helped me start on the journey. We're almost at 17,000 followers. That's amazing. We just hit 16,000 followers like recently. So the growth is going crazy on TikTok, but it's also growing crazy on YouTube right now. It's been like maybe right at 30 days, a little over 30 days when I started to really rev up the amount of content we're putting out consistently on YouTube. And we are almost at 2,000 subs. We just hit 1,000 subs. We almost doubled the subs here. Here, the video yesterday went crazy for my terms. Okay, like I'm not on the level of God logic or anything like that, but we definitely hit some milestones on yesterday's video and everything. So, anyways, thank you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I have thousands of dollars worth of equipment to run this stuff, and all of it. I would say maybe not all of it. The majority of it, like 90% of the money spent to all of the equipment to do all of this and edit and everything is by your donations, right? You guys donated by sending me TikTok coins, by sending me PayPal donations, everything that you guys have sent over has been reinvested back into this. And that's the reason why we're doing this. And the goal is, if we want to really blow this thing up, okay, cool. People know me on TikTok. That's fun. That's great. But the only way for us to really blow this around the world is through YouTube. YouTube is a way bigger platform. It's way more powerful, and we're actually getting it done. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your guys' support and you guys' help. So thank you. I really appreciate it. This is just the beginning. This motivated me to even go harder. So we're about to rev it up, and it's gonna be crazy in a year from now. A year from now, it's just gonna look completely different. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Good news is, the other thing is about the good news, because we still need TikTok to help this boost, because all of these conversations are coming from TikTok and we're putting it on YouTube. TikTok is still very, very important for the growth of this channel. Okay, we got good news the other day because we know that that President Trump only extended the ban for 75 days. It's somewhere in June, I think, or whatever. In an interview this past week, because China right now, they're going through a lot of tariff stuff, so there's not going to be any negotiation of the TikTok sale anytime soon. But he said that he's going to continue. He made a promise that he's going to continue extending the ban until this whole thing blows over with China. So TikTok is safe, and that's good for our channel because we need TikTok and the arguments that we have here to put it on YouTube until YouTube blows up on its own. Okay, so that is great news. W President Trump in the chat. So thank you guys so much. Guys, don't forget to follow Peace, who's on my panel, my beautiful, wonderful co-host. She is, if there's a plus sign next to her name, that means that you're not following her. So if you want to support me, you got to support her. She's going to be going live here very soon. You already know the topics that she normally does. She's like the expert on baptism and other things. So definitely give her a follow and support her. Because if you're supporting this channel, you got to support her as well. Okay. Because she definitely helps a lot on the back end on getting this thing going. So definitely show her some love. Okay. Don't forget Bible study Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Discord. Free to join. Just join the Discord. Or if you can't find the Discord, just add me as a friend on Discord. Everybody who adds me as a friend on Discord, I send the invite. So I'm assuming you're looking for that. So go ahead and do that, and I'll send you the invite to my Discord. Yeah, you can put the link in there. Yep. And then yeah. Anyways, one of my moderators who's here with me right now, he's gonna pin the link on the YouTube as well for everybody on the YouTube. So for you to join the Discord. Yeah. Anyways, guys, join the Discord. 100% free. The other thing is, oh my gosh, my Patreon members. I completely failed you guys. I was supposed to do this week's drop on the Patreon for you guys to drop for this week over the weekend, because on the weekends I have time. But all of a sudden, I got word on the last second that I had to like temporarily leave my house because they're redoing the floors and stuff, and I didn't have time to do it. So Patreon members, I promised you I was going to work on this weekend to getting the new drop for the week, and I failed that promise. I definitely broke that promise. I am so sorry. It was completely unexpected. They told me they were going to let me know 30 days in advance before they were going to do it, and next thing you know, they're like, nope, we're doing it now, and there's no way around it. So I had a temporary. That's why I'm not home right now. You guys don't see my office. I'm at a friend's house, so I'm staying here until tomorrow, and then they should be done. So anyways, I'm going to try to get the Patreon stuff done if I have time after work today to do it today, but I also have the class that I'm teaching at my church tonight. So I'm going to try to fit it in, if not tomorrow, and then we'll get it going. Okay. So I apologize, Patreon members. I love you guys though. Thank you guys for also supporting. Okay. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Quick prayer in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, now and forever, and to the ages of ages. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power, the glory, and the kingdom of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, now and forever, and to the ages of ages. Amen. All right, guys. Love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Best Morning Live on TikTok. We're going to keep this thing going. Let's go. YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the support you guys are showing right now. The views are going up. I definitely doubled my views today than I normally do. So this is awesome. So thank you guys. Keep coming back. We got more things coming. A lot of cool things coming in the future for YouTube. More content this week too. I have really funny content actually this week on this topic of Allah being illogical and some of the craziest things they said. So that's going to be I'm actually compiling like a couple of clips on that for the next video. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys. God bless you guys.